There are major changes inbound for this Miami Heat team, and specifically the offense. I'm here to break down brand new reports that suggest the Miami Heat offense is going to be drastically different this season in comparison to the years past. I'm also going to break down how this is great news for Heat Nation and the rest of this Heat organization, as it was dreadfully needed. I'm here to break down all of that on this episode of Heat Digest. But first, again, please do remember to scroll down and click that subscribe button. Help us hit our new goal of 5,000 subscribers, as nearly 80% of you guys watching this video are not currently subscribed. We do appreciate the love and support, so thank you guys. But now let's get to it and break down a new look for this Miami offense. And thank God that we're getting these reports, and thank you that we are finally we can put some faith in this Miami Heat offense in comparison to what we had to endure last season. It was dreadful from start to finish, ranking in the bottom 10 in offensive efficiency, second half points scored, fast break opportunities, which I all have pulled up here. Again, 28th in second half points scored. Things like offensive efficiency, ranking in the bottom 10, as well as the fast break opportunities and how good they make those opportunities. So, Brady Hawk, someone we love to cite on this channel. We bring him up all the time. We cite him all the time. Again, go follow him if you like to stay up to date with all schematics surrounding this Miami Heat organization. And he goes on to write this article saying, one Heat player sees the Indiana Pacers as the perfect offensive model. If you click on the photo, it takes you to the article where we get a bunch of good information surrounding the idea that the Miami Heat are going to absorb and really lean in to this young core that they've really built around in the last 2 to 3, 4 years in the draft, as well as the players they've gone out there and done a damn good job to acquire this offseason, as well as off seasons in the past. Just to mention a few, players like Pelle Larson, Devion Mitchell, Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, basically the entire lineup. Outside of players like Norman Powell and maybe Simon Fontecchio, you won't really think of people that are going to be lethal on fast breaks. But again, those guys are going to have their abilities in those fast break chances where they are spotting up outside three-point lines and knocking down open shots because of the conversions down in the painted area. So Brady Hawk goes on to say, when going down the line, the Heat's projected rotation, there's one main thing that sticks out: youth. Plenty of guys such as Ware, Jovic, and Larson who will have huge roles for this team this season, meaning it's time to lean into the young, fast, and athletic style. I couldn't agree more with Brady Hawk here. With the guys, as well as the guys that weren't mentioned, there's a great collection of athleticism on this team and a great ability to facilitate the basketball, especially in full court settings. Players like Jovic, Bam Adebayo, obviously Devion Mitchell, and Tyler Hero are great at moving the basketball. Jaquez really is being overlooked in this sense because he's a great facilitator. Some would even say, outside of his footwork, that is his best attribute, his ability to move the basketball despite being more of a small forward. Now, Brady Hawk would go on to say, Tyler Hero was asked about the Heat's roster on media day, and he was pretty aligned on the thinking, saying, quote, playing a little more athletic, we're younger, get out and run. This, and that was the end of the quote from Tyler Hero, this is exactly, and I mean exactly, the conversation we had in the dreadful moments of last season when Jimmy Butler wasn't playing because of injuries and the drama and all the speculation, and we had injuries to Bam for short periods of time. Jovic was missing some time, Hero missed some time, and there was a lot of inconsistencies in the offense, specifically the half-court offense, where the Miami Heat had to fall into sets. They couldn't get out and run, and they had to rely on half-court sets, and it was not good. It was abysmal, like the points or the stats we pointed out earlier, especially in the second half. Playing with leads, you would think the Miami Heat would be able to slow down the game and really milk some clock and score some baskets. That was not the case. Their inability to get out and run was dreadful. Their ability to maintain leads played a part in that because they couldn't maintain leads. They blew the most double-digit leads last season in the entire association. You cannot win basketball games and be a legit playoff contender and even a championship contender at that if you are blowing double-digit leads, especially to teams you should be beating up on. Last year, like the Hawks, the Magic, obviously the Washington Wizards, and others. Yes, there's credible teams, and you can't really look past any team in the association unless you have, like, if you have a collection of talent that's just an all-star level team, yes, you can really get by because you can lean on guys that are complementary pieces. But when you have a collection of talent that is just getting by, especially like we saw last season and the year prior, you cannot give away offensive possessions. You can't rely on half-court sets if you know it is not working. And the ability to avoid that while also being productive offensively is getting out, causing misses, rebounding the basketball, and running the floor. When you do that, you push the defense down, you can get out ahead of them, you can create contact at the rim because they're trying to make up ground while also finding easy baskets, whether they're spot-up shots because of, again, what we mentioned earlier, but the conversion down in the painted area, or the ability to just get to the basket and finish amongst other guys at the rim. It is something the Miami Heat, with the collection of talent they have assembled on this roster, needs to take advantage of. Last year, they had opportunities, and they did not go in that direction. This season, you cannot put this offense in the same situations and predicaments as last year, relying on half-court sets. Has the team gotten better? Absolutely. The collection of talent is outstanding, and I think they're going to exceed all expectations this year, especially in the Eastern Conference. But if you cannot get out and run, you are blemishing your team in the abilities that you maintain. The ability to get out and run and score easy baskets is as great as it sounds. If you can steal baskets because of good defense and good rebounding and good passing, you don't have to run 4 or 5 screens to get someone open and then run a full 20-second offense in a 24-second clock. You can be efficient, you can score effortlessly, and you can outscore your opponent. Good defense leads the rebounding, rebounding leads the passing, and running the floor. We called for it. I called it for it specifically last year. I was losing my mind watching these games because of the lack of half-court, or really the reliance on half-court offense and the inability to get down the floor quickly and efficiently. So back to the article from Brady Hawk. Quote, "Look at Indiana," end a quote from Jovic, said when he's making his point on style. Quote, the way they play is run. Take advantage of every little thing. Catch and go. Easy baskets. Try to find your role that way, and it's going to be easier for everybody. End of quote from Nikola Jovic, someone that has a lot of hope and optimism surrounding him going into this 4th season of his career, as he's more of that point forward who's gained a lot of weight, 40 pounds to be exact, going from 205 last season, now registering in at 245. With the ability to rebound, only getting better with that size, and with already a great ability to facilitate the basketball, look for Jovic to get out in the open court, steal a lot of those starting minutes from players like Kel'el Ware, and get this Heat offense going without having to rely on half-court sets, especially in the first 7 weeks of the year, 8 weeks of the year, when they're going to be playing without Tyler Hero, the focal point of the half-court offense. I will say a lot of this lack of production in the half-court had to do with Bam Adebayo and his regression last season from start to finish, and really not taking that step that all of Heat Nation and the Heat organization was really banking on without Jimmy Butler in that second half of the year specifically. But again, there's a lot of room for improvement. There's been a whole offseason where this team has been able to work without a lot of distractions outside of Terry Rozier, and I think that's put them in a great situation going forward where they can really look a lot different and be a lot more effective this up-and-coming year. So to close out that article that we were citing from Brady Hawk, he goes on to say, will the Heat mirror the offense style of the Pacers completely? Absolutely not, if I'm being honest. I don't see this team being a consistent, high-powered transition team for all 82 games like Indiana. Now, I don't think that's a far-fetched idea. I think Brady Hawk is going to be accurate by the time Game 82 is completed for Miami. But just a simple, small improvement, moving from the 28th worst team in second half points and moving up from the bottom 10 in all of basketball in fast break opportunities and points, it would be outstanding, and it would be just amazing. Not a top 5, not a top 8, 10 team in offensive production in fast break, but a top 15 team, a top 20 team would be absolutely drastic and help out this offense tremendously. A team that was really, really bad overall offensively last year. Last thing, again, tonight's game in Puerto Rico. The Miami Heat will be without Tyler Hero, Devion Mitchell, Pelle Larsson, Kasparas Giacomonis, and Terry Rozier because they did not travel for tonight's game. All of a sudden, point Niko Jovic is a thing, and we're going to see it in full-fledged, in full force tonight, as he's going to be the focal point for a preseason training camp game for the Miami Heat. Let me know down below your overall thoughts and opinions on this entire idea of the Miami Heat looking drastically different on the offensive side of things this year, and I will see you guys on the next episode of Heat Digest.